Welcome once more to the Library of M. We will continue reading Girl Interrupted by Susanna Kaysen. The taxi. You have a pimple, said the doctor. I'd hoped nobody would notice. You've been picking it, he went on. When I'd walk in that morning, early, so as to get to this appointment, the pimple had reached the stage of hard expectancy in which it begs to be picked. It was yearning for release, freeing it from its little white dome, pressing until the blood ran. I felt a sense of accomplishment. I've done all that could be done for this pimple. You've been picking at yourself, the doctor said. I nodded. He was going to keep talking about it until I agreed with him, so I nodded. Have a boyfriend? He asked. I nodded to this too. Travel with a boyfriend? It wasn't a question, actually. He was already nodding for me. Picking at yourself, he repeated. He popped out from behind his desk and lunged toward me. He was a tanned, fat man, tight-bellied and dark. You need rest, he announced. I did need rest, particularly since I'd gotten up so early that morning in order to see this doctor, who lived out in the suburbs. I changed trains twice, and it would have to retrace my steps to get to my job. Just thinking of it made me tired. Don't you think? He was still standing in front of me. Don't you think you need a rest? Yes, I said. He strolled off to the adjacent room where I could hear him talking on the phone. I have thought often of the next 10 minutes, my last 10 minutes. I had the impulse once to get up and leave through the door I'd entered, to walk the several blocks to the trolley stop and wait for the train that would take me back to my troublesome boyfriend, my job at the kitchen store. But I was too tired. He stuttered back into the room, busy, pleased with himself. I've got a bed for you, he said. You'll be a rest. Just for a couple of weeks, okay? He sounded conciliatory or pleading, and I was afraid. I'll go Friday, I said. It was Tuesday. Maybe by Friday I wouldn't want to go. He bore down on me with his belly. No, you go now. I thought this was unreasonable. I have a lunch date, I said. Forget it, he said. You aren't going to lunch. You're going to the hospital. He looked triumphant. It was very quiet out in the suburbs before 8 in the morning, and neither of us had anything more to say. I had a taxi pulling up in the doctor's driveway. He took me by the elbow, pinched me between his large stout fingers, and steered me outside. Keeping holding on my arm, he opened the back door of the taxi and pushed me in. His big head was in the back seat with me for a moment. Then he slammed the door shut. The driver rolled his window down halfway. Where to? Coatless in the chilly morning, planted on his sturdy legs in his driveway, the doctor lifted one arm to point at me. Take her to McLean, he said, and don't let her out till you get there. I let my head fall back against the seat and shut my eyes. I was glad to be riding in a taxi instead of having to wait for the train. Thank you so much for listening to the Library of M. Please, if you like the content, subscribe and leave a comment and share. See you next time.